wind down a bit, recharge your batteries, as it were.
Yeah, you get to, once it's over, you get to not have to wrap Christmas gifts anymore. Mel and I spent like 5 hours wrapping gifts. I was like, I don't think we have a lot this year. And we had so many gifts.
Dude.
And then, and she's crafty, right? So she loves it. She could have done it for 10 more hours.
Did she customize the wrapping?
Dude, it's like, she was like, oh, do you have any bows? Like, this happened, I think, last Christmas. I was like, no, I don't have any bows, because she wanted to put some bows on the gifts. She goes, that's okay, I'll just make them. And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean you'll make them? And she just, like, takes gift wrap, cuts it, and then just makes, like, the most perfect bow. That
of course she does.
Would take me an hour, and I'd still fuck it up.
Because she's on a level where she's not going and looking up a YouTube tutorial on how to make it. She has that knowledge in her brain already.
She's the one making the tutorials. Yeah, for sure. She's the source. So it just, thank God at least one of us is competent, because I can wrap a box pretty well, like a straightforward box. But some of the gifts this year was like a hoodie without a box. We didn't have a box for it. So it's like having to wrap something that's just soft or like not perfectly shaped or like just awkwardly shaped.
But you have so many boxes. Could you not box up said hoodie?
But they're not all the right size.
Okay.
And yeah, but we got through it, and Christmas was fun. Got to open some gifts. Got to eat a lot of good food. You got to eat some good food as well, I heard.
I did. I had some amazing shrimp po' boys.
So good.
Caesar salad. There was a delicious chowder.
Yeah.
A clam chowder that was very, very heavy on the clam.
Oh my goodness!
It had some awesome goodness going on. It had some leeks in there, some onion, I don't know about onion, potato.
Did Mike make that too?
No.
Where was that from?
That was I forget who made that.
That sounds like a big thing to make. It doesn't sound like it's just.
It was brought in a Le Creuset, cast iron.
Oh damn!
Wow. And, it was delish.
Man.
But, yeah, I
good.
didn't get to spend Christmas with my family, but I will be spending some time with them in the coming weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Are you guys gonna do like a little Christmas thing once you're there to make up
possibly.
for it? Yeah.
I'm terrible at gifting. I'm
sure. I'm sure your parents have some gifts for you though.
Yeah, they do. I'm sure they can't help themselves.
Dude, seriously, because this year, my mom and we had this conversation like at the beginning of December. We were like, hey, for Christmas this year, instead of just buying a million gifts for everyone, why don't we just do like a white elephant gift where we each buy like 2 gifts, $50 limit, and then we do like the white elephant thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, that sounds great. It'll be like a lot less stressful. And I knew
of course
she was full of shit.
Immediately disregarded.
She was completely full of shit. So of course it was all for naught, right? Like I still had to buy. I still bought them other gifts on top of the white elephant. So it actually just ended up being more gifts, and sure enough, she gave us like 1,000 things.
So did you set up the extra gifts as like you were keeping them in reserve, or you just assumed assumed it was going to be on?
I know my mom too well. I knew it wasn't even an assumption. It was just a fact. I was like, this is going to happen, and sure enough. But you know what's funny is there was a bit of a holiday crisis on Christmas Day, because we spent Christmas Eve with my folks, and then my folks, I sound so old, and then Christmas Day with Mel's family.
Midwestern.
We show up to her place, which is like, an hour plus drive from my house. We show up, I drop like the bags, I unload the car, and then we get, one big bag of presents, and then she goes, wait, didn't we have a whole second bag of presents too? We forgot the second bag of presents, which actually had most of the presents in it.
Oh.
So we showed up to Christmas Day without any presents, without any gifts for anyone.
It's like Santa, but he can't get it up.
Yeah. We were limp dick Santa, dude. We had a limp dick Santa Christmas. It was we could not believe, because we were just in such a hurry, because we had to also like pick up some food at a restaurant on the way, and so we were thinking about that. I'd partially blame myself, mostly because I was like loading the car, but we had separate. The reason we forgot it also was because we had left one of the bags by the door or whatever, and then the other bag in my room because inside of that bag with all the other gifts was also some banana bread that Mel and I had baked for people.
And you didn't want the cats getting into it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they had already kind of nipped at some of it earlier. So we were like, all right, let's keep it in my room. And just, out of sight, out of mind, completely forgot the full bag of gifts. But on the flip side, the good thing is that everyone at her Christmas, at her family's Christmas, is like, they're like middle-aged, in their 50s. And it wasn't like any little kids. Like, we didn't forget any like 12-year-olds gifts.
Okay.
That would have been devastating.
Yeah, because that's where it hits hardest. It's like,
yes,
like 14 and under. That's where Christmas still has a lot of magic in it.
Exactly. Yeah, I would have felt even worse had that been the case. But Mel's like the youngest one in her family, and there was no really other young people there. So all of her family was just like, yeah, we don't give a shit. And we're seeing them on New Year's Day, so we're gonna bring them then. But
so they were gracious about it.
Yeah,
and
it was a fun little moment though.
And there's something to be said for like delayed gratification. Because now those Christmas presents are just like acquiring kind of an aura of mystery.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm sure it's been on all their minds ever since. They can't sleep to like know what's in those gifts. But yeah, thanks for watching the cats while I was gone.
Yeah, man, it was my pleasure.
Yeah, the house looked great. Hawaii was awesome, dude. I have to tell you the freaking story.
Tell me the story. I'm waiting.
My God. Okay. So it's a long story, but
all right. Well,
I've been so excited. Yeah. So maybe we should crack that. The sake.
This is some delicious sake that Kyle was nice enough to fetch me from Japan.
Yeah, Mel and I brought that back from Japan. Yeah, from Tokyo.
And I have been letting it sit because I like to do that. I like to do that with checks too, for some reason.
With checks, yeah.
Like
it feels wrong cashing them sometimes.
Sometimes it's like I got a check for like from my car dealership.
Yeah. Does that have a little tab that you have to undo around it? Oh no, it's just stubborn.
They accidentally charged me too much on my registration or something.
Yeah.
So they sent me a refund. I've had that check for like 8 months.
Yeah.
And
you better cash it.
Check for $400.
So, oh my God.
And I'm
not that bad. If it's a lot, I'll cash it.
But I don't know what it is. It's like there's something comforting about seeing that check sitting there, knowing it's worth $400, and I can just like get it anytime. But I think part of the point of like not cashing it is that I can't do stupid things with that money.
I see. So it's kind of like you're protecting yourself a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I have that
regulations.
I have that money
discipline
squirreled away.
Right.
And I can't do frivolous things with it on a whim.
I get it. I mean, it's the same concept for me as like cash. Like I have some cash at home, but then I'll rarely put it in my wallet when I go out and leave the house because I know I'll spend it.
Yeah.
But if I keep it at home, it's cash on hand.
True.
But
can I fill you up?
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So where do I begin here? We're in Hawaii. We're there for Mel's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And on one of the nights, we go out and we get some drinks at this bar. And it's a Thursday night, so it's big. Thursday nights are like college night.
Gotcha.
And so they have like half off all the drinks and like we're buying like mini pitchers of Long Island iced tea.
Many pitchers of Long Island iced tea.
Mini pitchers.
Yes.
They're probably like pints. Yeah.
Yes. No, I like the sound of that. That sounds like things are going to get crunk.
Still some wild juice, right? And it's a great bar, like good energy, a lot of cool people and stuff. And there's dartboards, these electronic dartboards. Mel and I were like, let's play. In order to get the darts, you have to give your ID to the bartender. They hold it there until you return them. We're playing darts. We're at this bar for like, must have been 3 hours or something like that. We're there for a long time. We're getting pretty lit. And then at one point, I just crumble. I turn into just a bumbling idiot, as I often do when I'm that lit, right? So I'm 3 sheets to the wind.
Okay.
And if Mel were here, she'd be able to tell you more clearly what happened at that point. But like, at one point, she was like, "Oh, we need more coins for the dartboard. Here's like a $5 bill. Go to the machine, get coins." I start walking to the machine. Halfway to the machine, I text her and I go, "What am I supposed to do again?" I I have no idea I'm like just lost in the middle of this bar. I'm like, what do I do? And she's like, singles, get single. And she's like just texting over and over. I think I might have called her after that. And then eventually she's just like, because she has to hold down the fort. Otherwise someone will snag the dartboard.
Right.
So whatever, we finally get the money. And then, I don't know. Like she at one point, like I just kept proving that I was not coherent enough to do anything. So she just decides, we got to go back to the hotel. This isn't good. So we go back to the hotel, and I immediately pass out or whatever. And she starts to get hungry as she does. So she decides to venture out. Oh, the other thing is that we had left the bar without returning the darts, so we never got Mel's ID back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing is I put my credit card, on the tab, and before we were leaving, she was like, "Did you not cash out? Did you close out? Did you get your card back?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm pretty sure you didn't." And I was like, "No, I did. I 100% did." She's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Don't trust Kyle.
I didn't. I didn't. I did not get my card back. So now we've left her ID, my credit card, and the umbrella that we borrowed from the hotel, which is assigned to our room number. So like that's like they will charge us for that.
Yeah.
It's a nice hotel or whatever. And so
But you're still in the hotel, right?
At this point, we're still in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm passed out in the bed, and she's like getting hungry, and she also so she goes out. She leaves the hotel. It's probably like midnight or something like that. She walks to 7-Eleven to get a restaurant or something to get food, but it's closed. So she walks a little further to the nearest 7-Eleven and gets a snack there. At this point, she's already kind of close to the bar that we were at.
Yeah.
And thinks, I'm gonna go get the. Actually, she was kind of lit too. Must have been because she forgot all about her ID, but she remembered the umbrella. So she was like, I'm gonna go to this bar. I'm just gonna walk a little further, and in the middle of the night by myself, and get the umbrella. So she walks to the bar, and there's a bouncer out in front, and like the bar is already kind of closed down. He's like doing this, nah. And she's like, I just left my umbrella in there. Can I go and get it? He's like, nope. She's like, come on. It's just like I walked. At this point, I didn't realize the bar is a 40-minute walk from our hotel. She had walked 40 minutes for like some chick in the middle of the night to walk alone. I mean, I know it's Hawaii, it's touristy, whatever, but still. So she had walked 40 minutes to this bar. She's like pleading with the guy. I walked like all the way here. Can't you just let me get my dumb umbrella? And he's like, nah. So she starts walking back, but then like you can kind of see into the bar, and she sees the umbrella sitting right there on the table, and she walks back and goes, I see the umbrella. It's right there on the table. And he's like, oh, it's probably some young kid right out of college. He goes in, gets the umbrella. Here you go. She goes, thank you. And then she walks back all the way back, 40-minute walk back to the hotel. At this point, it's like 1:30 a.m. or something. And she walks into our hotel room, and I'm nowhere to be found. I'm not there. And her first thought is,
this is going to be good.
Oh, you have no idea. Her first thought is, he's probably hiding and trying to scare me. He's going to pop out or something.
Okay, that's reasonable.
So she's like looking under the bed. She's looking in the closet, in the bathtub. Nowhere. And then she goes, okay, that's weird. And then she notices that my phone is there. So she's like, okay, wherever he is, he probably didn't leave the hotel.
I want to take this moment to note that I'm very happy that you did not fall off the balcony.
Okay, so hold that thought.
God damn it. Okay.
No. So she goes, he's probably in the hotel still if his phone's here. And now here's the part in the movie where we go back in time and relive everything from the other person's perspective.
Yes.
So this is my part of the story. I was obviously passed out.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point I come to. But when I come to, I'm in the hallway of our hotel floor.
Interesting.
Of the floor of our hotel room. And I don't mean like I woke up on the floor. I mean like I just remember being like I re-entered consciousness.
Yes.
Because I was blacked out.
Right.
I was completely blacked out. And then the first new memory I have is me standing in the hall of our hotel. And I go, Where
am I? What am I doing here?
Seriously. And so I'm like, but then I was like, okay, we're at the hotel. We're on our floor. I think I remember the room number, which I did. It was 720. So I walked to the room, 7:20, and I go to get my key card, and then I realize I'm not wearing pants. I have no pants on. I'm just out here in a public area with just the boxer briefs and a shirt, and I have nothing on me.
Okay. I mean, it could be worse, but go on.
So I knock on the door, expecting Mel to answer. No answer. She's doing her thing, right?
Right.
I have no idea.
So both of you are on an adventure.
Yes. And so I start knocking louder. I'm thinking maybe she's passed out and can't hear me. And I'm pounding away at this door. And I'm like, okay, she's not answering. Where is she? Maybe she stepped out for a while. So I just kind of wait around for a little bit. Like maybe she'll come back.
At least you were pounding on the right door.
I was for sure. And I thought maybe she'll be back in 5 minutes. I probably, I thought that I waited for like 10, 15 minutes, but you know how it is. In reality, I was there for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I just couldn't wait any longer. So I was like, okay, this is weird. And I didn't want to go down to the hotel lobby because, I mean, the whole time it's always flooded with people. I didn't want to walk through and just be like a laughing stock. I didn't want to suffer that embarrassment. So,
okay. Avoiding the walk of shame, I get it.
I keep pounding on the door, just hoping that eventually she'll answer, and it doesn't happen. And then the more time that passes, the more, I guess, concerned I was a little bit, just because, like, okay, what if she is in there, but she just needs some attention, something went wrong, she slipped, or, she's just way too drunk. I'm like, I kind of really want to know where she is and how she's doing, make sure she's okay.
So you're becoming concerned.
Yes. Because enough time is passing by, and she still hasn't come back. If she was out of the room, she hasn't come back. Where could she be? I know it's the middle of the night, or at least late. And so we're on the 7th floor once again, and the hallway of our floor, it kind of terminates to like a balcony, where it's like open air, and you can kind of like lean over the ledge. Now, if you lean over that ledge and you crane your neck, you can see our balcony about 6 to 8 feet away.
No.
And you can see the railing of our balcony.
Okay.
And we're 7 floors up. And it's a straight shot to the bottom. And I'm looking at this and I'm going,
Do we need Kyle's mom do not watch this?
I already told the story.
Okay.
She died. And I'm looking at this shot and I'm thinking, can I make that? And in between the floor balcony and our room balcony, there is a ledge, but it's probably 2 to 3 inches wide. So like both of my feet would have to go along this 2 to 3 inch ledge. And I look down and it's like, it's a straight shot down. If I don't make this, I'm kind of screwed. And I'm like, no. And I'm like talking myself out. And I'm still pretty lit, right? And I'm just like, no, this is dumb. This is a ridiculous idea. I'll just wait. And so I walk away and I do this thing where I start pacing, where like I'll look over, I'll be like, no, fuck that. And I go back in the hall, wait a little bit. And then I walk back out and I look again. I go, could I make that? I do this like 5 or 6 times. And at this point, it's been maybe half an hour, 40 minutes since I came to. And then I'm going, and then what finally pushed me to attempt it, was just thinking, all right, if she really needs help in there, I'm going to feel like complete shit just by sitting here or whatever. And I still didn't want to go downstairs to the concierge. I still didn't want to go to the front desk. So I go, all right, I think I can do this. So I literally climb over the railing of the floor balcony railing. And then I'm grabbing on one hand on the ledge, and then I can't really reach the other wall ledge of our balcony. I'm a little bit too far away, so I literally have to let go of this hand and lean, and then grab the edge of the balcony. Okay. So in that moment, like I need to make this, otherwise I fall, because my feet are barely hanging on, and I go for it and I do it because my thought is right. So and I climb over the railing, and I'm in the balcony, and sure enough, sliding glass door is locked. And the curtain's closed, so I can't see anything. I can't access the room. I'm still in the exact same... Actually, I'm in a worse position now.
Yeah.
And so I start banging on the sliding glass door of our balcony. Still nothing. And I go, all right, I really just need to suck it up, bite the bullet, and go to the front desk. At this point, she could be dead in there. I don't know. So I climb back over and go back. I make the same. I do it twice. I did it twice, like a psycho.
Oh man.
And so I get there. You know, I make it back to the floor, fortunately, and I go downstairs, expecting to just be the laughing stock, like expecting the worst. Elevator doors open. It's a huge lobby. There's no one. It's completely empty. Not a single soul, which is insane because there's like hundreds of people at any other time of the day, just flooding. It's like an airport. And I was just like, holy shit. And so I walk to the front desk. There's two young girls. I'm in my boxers. I tell them the whole story, and I'm just like genuinely concerned. I'm like,
do you tell them about the balcony part?
I didn't. I don't remember.
Okay, good.
I don't. I might have just to stress the urgency of it, but that probably didn't help my case much. And they're looking at me like I'm crazy already.
Okay,
and
fair.
But I gave them enough personal information to place me in that room.
Yeah,
so they can verify.
You verified yourself.
So they go, okay. So they make me a new key card, right? And they hand me the key card and they go, do you want us to call the room just to see if she'll pick up? And I go, yeah, I mean, yeah, you could try that. And so they dial the room. Mel picks up instantly. And she goes, hello? And I go, Mel? I'm so, by the way, I'm so shaken at this point. I'm not in like a normal state. I'm so like rattled from everything that just occurred.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mel? And she's like, yeah, where are you? Like, and these two ladies look at me like I'm like, should we call the cops or something? This guy is on drugs or something? And I'm like, I'll be right there. Don't move. And I rush upstairs. I rush up to the room. And so we had basically just missed each other on the elevator.
Whoa.
Because any other way, we were like doing the math, we would have seen each other coming down the hallway, in the lobby. Mm-hmm. We had literally just missed each other on the elevator. She was going up and I was going down at the exact same time in that 2 hour window.
It's
nuts.
Wow.
So
nuts. Impressive. Did you take a picture of that
yeah
thing you traversed?
Yeah, let me get it up for you. I think it's right here.
Also, what were you wearing on your feet?
I was barefoot.
You were barefoot. Okay.
So that's taken from the floor, the balcony of the hallway of our floor, and the railing you see in the distance is our balcony.
Jesus Christ. Bro,
I Spider-Man dude.
You withdrew heavily from the Karma Bank. Please remember to refill. That is redonkulous.
Yeah. I looked at it. It looked a lot scarier the next day. Dude, when you're lit and it's like night and you can't really see all that well, it's like a black hole. You're like, there's nothing down there. It's fine. I don't see anything bad down there.
Probably water or something.
The next day, I woke up and like immediately went up to that view, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that twice.
Okay, well that is some real Assassin's Creed energy on your part.
Yeah, it's probably easily the dumbest, like riskiest physical thing I've ever done.
Recently
in the last week.
That is definitely a that's impressive.
Man.
I don't know. I've tangled with heights to some degree, but I don't think ever quite to that degree. There was the one time I almost fell off a substantial cliff at Joshua Tree.
Right.
Because I was taking a photo and I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to get the framing right, and I was walking backward.
Right.
I was walking backward toward a cliff.
Oh my god.
And my friend was like, "Bro,
oh my god,
stop."
And you take, I mean, your stride is bigger than mine. It would take me like 100 steps to go the distance of your 3, you know?
So
one more step for you might have been your demise.
I definitely had a close brush.
Oh my god.
But
see, at least that was just pure accidental. That wasn't you intentionally being a dumbass. Like that's how embarrassed I was to go. Like I was like, I'd rather risk my life twice than be seen in my, which everyone was like, yeah, but you'd be caught dead in your underwear if you die, like at the bottom of the hotel. I was like, yeah, but I wouldn't be awake. You would
be dead, so you would not be able to experience embarrassment.
It's a moot point. Yeah,
that is
logical.
Unreal, dude.
Yeah, dude.
So what kind of punishment regime has Mel constructed for you?
None really. I think we were both equally confused for completely different reasons when I finally showed up, or when we met back at the room, because she was like wondering why I was so upset and frazzled and rattled, and I was like, where the fuck have you been? Where the fuck were you? Like the thing is, and in her defense, like she texted me. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go walk to the bar or get something to eat and I'll be back. Which, had I seen that, I'd be like, all right, I would have called her or whatever. And also, like, she thought I was the crazy thing is that I woke up at all. Like, usually when I'm that turnt and I'm down for the count, like I'm down for the count. And she was like,
so somehow you passed out and then you got up, physically got up and walked out into the hallway, and then your consciousness achieved existence.
Exactly. So it's hard to know if like I was looking for Mel in that moment, like when I was just before I came to, when I was still blacked out. After I got out of bed, if I like how'd I get into the hallway? Was I just looking for Mel, or did I like take a wrong turn to the bathroom or something?
Because your phone was either in your pants or next to the bed or something.
Yeah.
And you did not bring it with you.
Right. And like, yeah, dude.
So that's a definite highlight. Where like
the rest of you was very
neurally meeting death.
Yeah.
Just dodging the side of the Grim Reaper.
Dude, the other thing is like I just thought about this, but how terrible, like how scarred would Mel have been for the rest of her life?
Yeah,
like,
bro, you got it.
She'd never have a good birthday again. Her birthday would always be marked with this horrific event.
See, that's a part of
so traumatized
relationships where you gotta be like, you gotta think about the impact of your actions on the other person.
Yeah,
and I will give you the pass. It's hard to do that when you are pretty fully lit.
Yeah,
like you've just come out of a blackout.
And the thing is, I remember pretty much I remember, except the small details of exactly what I said to the hotel staff. I remember everything so vividly. It's like so lucid, right? Because I was like running on pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
But that also makes it really hard to determine how fucked up was I.
Yeah, because you were under the influence of adrenaline and alcohol, which is an unpredictable at best combination.
Exactly. It's like when you're on shrooms and you've drank like 3 40 ounces. You cannot tell at all. You're like, I'm fine. I could drive.
I don't know. Yeah. Everything's weird, but that's normal.
Yeah. Such a wild story, dude.
So other than your near brush is with death, any other memorable cool things that happened on that? That trip?
Compared to that, thankfully that was the only real super eventful thing that happened. Everything else was very smooth, went according to plan.
Just chilling in the tropics.
Yeah, man. We did rent the dude at the car rental place kind of upsold me on the sports car. Which was a bad move because it wasn't even that sporty. It was like a base model sports car, which, I mean, it just, you barely even felt any difference.
Yeah.
It's also because I have my car, and it's like compared to that, it just wasn't. And also, it was a Dodge Challenger, which they can be cool cars, on the higher tiers. But the base is just whatever, and it's a big car. It's like a boat. It's wide and it's long, which is not great for the area we were in.
The front end is stupid long.
It is. And so, I have a sedan, so it was an adjustment, especially like the lanes in like Waikiki are very narrow. You're just like very shoulder to shoulder. So in that car, I was just like, I don't want to get dinged for this. If I get a scratch out, they're going to charge me out the ass. Huh? It was very uncomfortable. Yeah. But the AC worked great. And it was hot as fuck there, dude. I didn't expect it to be. It was 90% humidity almost the whole time we were there.
Well, that's normal. But what was the temperature?
Temperature was like mid to high 70s, so it felt
Okay.
well into the 80s.
Yeah, for sure. You can get sweaty.
But everything else was chill. You know, Hawaii's nice. We were on Oahu, and there were some people in Hawaii, people who like work, like who live in Hawaii, are interesting because they're all like really chill, as you might expect them to be.
Right.
But there's also like, so like we did a kayak. We rented some kayaks, and at the kayak rental place, it's just this guy, and like he's like shirtless. He's like he's on the beach, and he's got a clipboard.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "What's up? Oh, cool. You want a kayak?" And he's like this young, hot guy, and you know, just model or whatever. Just probably gets laid a lot. Has no problem with women.
Super tan.
And beautiful tan, beautiful eyes. I'm just like, this guy's in the prime of his life.
Yes.
Like, and he doesn't have a care in the world. He's so chilled out and not burdened by everyday struggle. And then he's like, oh, you have to go. You want to go in and change? You go into the shop and come back out. So we go in, get in our bathing suits. When we come back out, it was just at the tail end of his shift because now there's another guy at the same spot, but this guy is significantly 25 years older.
Yeah.
And both Mel and I had the exact same thought after interacting with this guy, which was, dude, that was just the young guy 25 years later.
Like you
Literally.
could see it was like just an even 25 years of time
100%
travel,
and he
essentially.
still kind of had that carefree, like, I don't give a fuck attitude, but there was this like sense of sadness of like he didn't have a wife, didn't have a kid. You could tell he was just like a bachelor type guy. I'm sure Mel would agree. And he just seemed like worn out, kind of beaten down. It was almost like it made me realize that you kind of need struggle, some degree of struggle in your life. If it's just like Hakuna Matata the whole time of your entire existence, you kind of get depressed. Like if you just don't ever challenge yourself, like you're just like, I'm just gonna work at a kayak spot. I mean, some people can do it, I guess, but I feel like the guy was just like, you know, I'm just gonna live off, you know, just
there's
do this.
actually a word for that.
What is it?
What you're describing was lacking in that man's life was eustress.
Eustress. Is that an English word?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's stress.
Yeah.
With EU at the beginning.
So it's like a lack of stress.
It's my understanding is it's sort of like productive stress.
Oh yeah. Right.
It's not stress that, like, you know, grinds you down. It's the kind of stress that motivates you to
right
like
it's
do
like,
stuff.
It's healthy stress.
Yeah.
Just like there's healthy fear, like looking both ways before you cross the street.
Right.
There's a certain amount of that you kind of need. And it's like that's one of the things. It's like seems like there's a group of people who live in Hawaii who are just like, I'm not going to try, or like just like they just want to chill. They just want to chill. There's no real ambition there. And that looks really sexy when you're like a hot 22-year-old guy.
Right.
But when
it doesn't age well.
When you're a 45-year-old dude and you've got like really nothing going for you and you can't get chicks anymore, it kind of sucks. And it was like, oh damn, that's like, yeah, it was just like Mel was literally like, yeah, that second guy was just the first guy if like in 25 years. I was like, oh my God, the exact same thought.
If he just spent 25 years
in the same
like,
spot
working at a place on the beach and just surfing and doing whatever.
Right. Just chilling.
And just chilling because
straight chilling.
And that's funny because I've truthfully always wanted to just chill. Like,
sure.
My ideal has been
there's a fantasy. The chill fantasy.
Just like having a nice life where you don't have to worry about money and you can just spend as much time as you want relaxing by the pool.
That's the difference.
You know?
If the second guy had money, it'd be a different story.
Right.
If he had millions in the bank and just didn't have to worry about anything, he'd be fine.
Right.
Then you can chill.
But then so he didn't. So he was probably, you know, maybe paycheck to paycheck, or maybe just, you know, had some moderate, you know, financial situation, but he was still working at a rental place on the beach.
Yeah. Like probably no health, no 401k, no retirement savings, just aloha every day, all day, every day, Hakuna Matata, just like that for 45 years. You're like,
I think for some people it could be right, but I think for many people it's there comes a point where you have to like move with your life. Like,
Yeah, right.
Move upward, forward,
Yeah.
some direction other than where you are currently.
Right, yeah. Well, that's like I feel like that's a lot of the cool stuff when you look back on your life when you're old is like, whoa, that was a lot of shit that I got through, that I got over. I think if you have zero hurdles, zero obstacles, like, you don't really have a story, really. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
In
I
some
mean, I think that checks out. I mean, if you don't have things to overcome, then that's where sort of like self-esteem comes from, or
Right.
like
Confidence to a degree.
confidence
For sure.
You've been able to face challenges and overcome them,
Right.
and prove to yourself that you have grit, and
Right.
you can do stuff.
At least that's how it seemed. I could be completely
that's
wrong.
how you interpret it.
It could honestly have just been that like he fucking hates tourists. Because that was the other thing I realized about everyone in Hawaii. They're all they all work in jobs where they have to cater to tourists practically 24/7.
Pretty much, that's where the money's at.
Kind of fucking blows.
Yeah.
Like your whole job is to just be the fluffer of someone else's vacation.
Yeah.
Like while you're on the shift.
Yeah.
Like that blows. I would get sick of that real quick.
I feel like
Happy
like
family.
there's got to be some options for balance in that. I remember
Yeah.
when I was in Iceland, which is I think notable in relation to Hawaii for being an island and pretty
tourist
not nearly
Sure.
as huge,
It's
but it's tourism driven economy to a degree.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people that I met there who were involved in the tourism industry seemed quite happy. Like they had, they had stuff going on outside of
Right.
their work, and
Right.
they had, I feel like, balance in their life.
Yeah, for sure. I think maybe there's different values there, like culturally, you know, as opposed to the U.S. It's like hustle mentality, grind set,
Yeah, which
like
oh man,
caps mega consumerism and capitalism. Like it doesn't jive well with that
I
chill lifestyle.
I feel like the hustle grind set is a very toxic thing because
Gary V.
well the per capita productivity for workers in the United States, like the amount of work or productive work that you can get out of the average worker has gone up immensely.
Yeah.
In the past, let's say 60 years.
Right.
Like 200% or something. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's probably exaggerated, but it's immense.
Yeah.
And so like to have amidst this situation where people are more productive than they've ever been at any point in history, have this mentality that you got to double down and do even more.
Right.
If I feel like if you take a step back and look at that, you go like there is a bounty of productivity. Like isn't there a better way to approach life than to just try to do as much work as possible?
Right.
Like that's not the point of life.
For sure. Yeah.
Like
that's a fairly empty existence. But it's I think it's hard to break away from that when that's what society is doing.
Not only that,
when that's what everyone's doing, that's expected.
Yeah, true. And
it's
also
tough to break from.
Also, if you've let it kind of mold your personality.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Because there are definitely people who
where like hustling is your identity.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm the guy that grinds. I'm the guy who works overtime. I'm the guy who misses holidays.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's like, because that behavior is rewarded. It's completely rewarded, and also like
via
social media, like
because I was gonna say it's not necessarily rewarded by
others.
financial compensation.
Right. Yeah. But what is rewarded is like, through social media is like self-obsession, narcissism. Like the person who's tweeting the most, sharing their stupid thoughts and flexing as much, wealth or assets that they have. Like that gets likes, that gets clicks, that's all affirmation. Like, yeah, you're on the right track. Keep it up. And that becomes a lot of people's whole life, their identity.
That I think that's a good example of how unhealthy behavior is enabled and promoted because of algorithms.
Yeah.
There's like the algorithms that drive engagement on social media.
Right. It's dialed in, dude.
They promote terrible things.
Yeah.
Essentially. Like unrealistic expectations, unrealistic ideas and lifestyles, and especially body dysmorphia.
Oh my God. That shit's insane. Dude.
Especially like
for young people, I mean anyone, even like Mel's shown me, she's opened my eyes to just how deep that shit goes. Mm-hmm. Like the kinds of filters that they have now. For literally everything. I mean, like you got a little bit of love handle, just sucks that in instantly. Yep. Like everyone's like, oh, that's Photoshop. It's like you don't even need Photoshop now. You just need the camera and the app. The app does it for you.
Yeah.
And it's like she's shown me people that she knows who have thousands of followers on Instagram or whatever, and she goes, I'm like, oh yeah, she's attractive, and then she shows me the actual picture of this person without any filtration. And I'm like, that's a completely different person. We've just completely fooled ourselves into assuming these false identities. It is absolutely wild. And then everyone else sees that and goes, well, why don't I look like that? What you're looking at isn't real, obviously, but it still makes you feel like shit. When everybody is beautiful, like everyone looks like an A-list celebrity. It's like, that's not normal. We're living in a fantasy world, an inverted clown land,
Yes. So
it's really toxic.
A very good example of that phenomenon is documented on a subreddit called Instagram Reality.
Oh yeah.
Which is just back-to-back examples of how wildly different people can look on social media,
right?
And in real life.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast where there's this like lawyer. He's a divorce lawyer, and some of his clients are like billionaires, honestly. And someone was asking him like, how can you tell like a truly wealthy person from one who's just pretending to be? Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, the wealthy ones pretend to be. Like the wealthy ones will come in with designer clothes. They'll have a really nice car, but maybe like an apartment or something. And they constantly have to be boasting about their lifestyle. He goes, he's like, most of my billionaire clients, they walk in with dad jeans and a t-shirt and some New Balances. They do not flex any kind of wealth because it's true wealth. Like they don't need to front anything. Like they're just,
money shouts.
Money shouts, yeah.
Wealth whispers.
Basically that.
That's
basically exactly that.
That's the
but you know what?
Saying.
But like whispering doesn't get likes, You got to be loud to get likes.
Yeah, but people who are wealthy don't need likes typically.
Exactly. Right. It goes back to the hustle grind mentality. Everyone's like trying to strive for that. Mm-hmm. So they have to play this game. They have to play this game of like keeping up appearances.
But then also it's a form of self-deceptive narcissism.
Yeah.
So scroll through, and then the picture on the bottom is the person without filters.
Oh my God. Yeah. This is, it's this is Ready Player One, basically. We already have avatars of ourselves.
Yep.
You know,
And there's a lot of the phones that are sold, I want to say in Asian markets like China and Korea,
yeah,
have like beauty enhancement filters just toggled on by default. Like that's the factory setting, is the beauty filters are just on.
Yeah, that's what Mel was saying, is like in China and other parts of Asia, the filters are so much more aggressive.
They're sophisticated, they're aggressive, and they're on by default.
That's crazy.
So I mean,
on by default is nuts.
I'm honestly grateful for a lot of reasons to be a man. One of them is I can't imagine how it would be to grow up dealing with self-image, like seeing so many, because it used to be like, say 2 decades ago, it was, the models on the cover of Vogue, like magazines and stuff where young women and girls got their impressions of what beauty was, were super heavily photoshopped, airbrushed, whatever. But now it's because of social media, it's like you can't say, oh, it's a problematic thing that's the media industry is doing. It's just like a self-propagating problem, because everybody, painting with a broad brush, everybody on social media is presenting an unrealistic image of themselves.
Right.
And then I just can't imagine being like a young woman or girl trying to deal with the standards of beauty as defined by everything that I see on TV and movies and even social media.
Right.
And then looking at myself and going, I am like a 2.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
But in reality, it's
bullshit.
Yeah, because there is no actual like baseline set in reality.
Exactly.
For them to lean on.
That's 100% accurate. I totally agree. I think previously, pre-social media, you would see a Victoria's Secret model or something, some actress, Jennifer Love Hewitt on TV. It was easy, relatively easy to separate that this is a top 0.001% person who is a global, supermodel or actress, and now it's the chick that sits next to you in class looks like that.
Right.
And that is a lot more difficult for especially a young person to separate and go and to not compare. How do you not compare yourself to the girls in your classroom?
I actually am curious about that, because I wonder about the reality warping effects of that, because let's say today, you're 15, and the person who you sit next to in class on social media is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But then you look at them and they look like a normal, okay looking person.
Sure.
But obviously, they are capable of being super glamorous, and they just, so like I'm trying to think of how people rectify that mentally. Like, do they just go, oh well, they're not wearing their makeup, they're not wearing their best clothes, so they're not bringing their A game, they're just not really trying that hard, and that's why they look this way in school.
Yeah.
But then on social media, they look amazing, and so obviously they're not.
I totally speculating, but I think there's a placebo effect for it, for sure.
Okay.
I think if someone has this glamorous looking Instagram page, like the person in your class, like going back to your example, and they look great in every photo there, and that is actually garnering the attention of people on social media, and they have a substantial following that's maybe higher than average, that like we're in an attention economy now, where like that has value. So it's not even that, like, and then you see that person at school, you go, she has 15,000 followers, and she looks great in every photo. It doesn't even matter what she looks like, even if it's a little off or whatever. It's like there's a status there that's created. And I think especially young people just go, wow, that's really cool. I'm sure there might be there's a niche of like haters. There's like, that's not her, she's using filters. But I think it's been so normalized that it's more about the status of what how much in the limelight can you be? How much attention can you garner from the general public? What's the public perception? And if you're getting all these comments and likes and follows, if you have a big following, I mean, you've kind of made it in a young person's eyes. Like, what? You have 500,000? Like, it doesn't even matter at that point.
If I was I'm just imagining conjecture here. If I was in high school at this point and I had a social media account where I had 500,000 followers, I would legitimately be like, I'm hot shit. Like that would be a huge confidence boost.
100%.
Even if it was just because I was presenting a completely unrealistic projection of or portrayal of myself.
And that would fuel your attractiveness, your appeal to people.
Because
if you have confidence,
it would make you it would
emboldened
make you
to just.
So it would actually give you self-confidence,
right?
Which isn't
which is hard to pull off.
It's not necessarily a bad thing to have,
right?
But it's also, in that case, it's unnaturally earned. It's not legitimately produced.
And I think that's we're getting to the core of the issue, is that it's like reality doesn't really matter, or like it's just a means to an end.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like whoever can fake it till they make it the best is rewarded in the end. And obviously we can have a whole episode about like the repercussions of that and where does that lead and the long-term effects, and how it will probably all crumble, but by then it's too late. These kids they're already on that track, on this path.
Yeah,
it's rough.
I
don't envy them.
I'm glad I didn't get super into social media. It seems like a fun way to connect with your friends and be engaged with what's going on.
Yeah.
And then it more and more it seems like it is a portal to unnatural happiness or unhappiness.
Yeah.
Narcissism or crushing feelings of self unworthiness.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks, dude.
But anyway, that feels like a tangent that's run its course.
Yes. Yeah, we can put the kibosh on that for now. That was a good one, though. That was a good run. I think I had a couple other things written down for this episode, but we are going to roll into another one pretty soon here. We're doing back-to-back episodes because Ian will be gone visiting his parents. I will be gone in Vegas, going to Vegas for CES, which is exciting. And also, holy shit, when can I just relax? We just barely are not even through the holidays yet. That's the craziest thing about CES is like, you got Thanksgiving and you're like, okay, and then you set up all the Christmas and then the New Year's and you're like, and before you can even like take a shit, it's like 5 days of hell in Vegas where you're just like, God, kill me now. I mean, it's always a great event. It's like one of those like, you love it by the end of it. You're glad you went.
And it's the being there.
It's the grinding through it.
Yeah.
Yes. And, I think it'll be fun. It's always nice to see people and check out the new stuff that they've got showing off. Nvidia will be perhaps announcing the 5000 series, RTX 5000 series. I know I don't want to turn this into a tech podcast, but I'm word vomiting now.
I'm interested to see what happens. I have a feeling that Nvidia is going to just fully embrace the fuck consumers.
Yes.
We're doing this simply because we have almost a monopoly.
Yeah.
And we are bothering to maintain that monopoly, but you're going to pay out the asshole for whatever we feel like throwing your way.
Because that strategy has worked for them this entire time. Every time they double down and go, fuck consumers, nothing, like they just keep getting
There's no
wealthier.
negative repercussions for them.
Zero, because like you said, it's more or less a monopoly at this point. AMD doesn't really have any, their only competitor, really, if you can even call them a competitor, they're not a competitor anymore in the high-end space. So Nvidia
because AMD doesn't have anything for the high-end space, right?
They don't. Nothing that can compete with Nvidia's top of the line.
Yeah.
So since Nvidia is like the sole owner, the sole producer of this flagship product, they can charge pretty much anything they want. And time has told that people will still pay the ridiculous premiums to get the app to get their Halo product.
Yeah.
To get their hands on it.
Okay.
Right now, 4090s are going for $2,000 to $3,000, and they're a 4-year, like at least Founders Edition cards.
Yeah.
Are going. I've seen them go for $2,500, $2,800.
No shit.
Dollars for a 4090
right now.
Right now. I still have people off. Like I have a. Oh, I don't want to mention it. I've listed my 4090 at one point, and I never took down the ad, but I still get hit up. It's like set for $2,000, and people still hit me up. I just got an offer today, and it's a 4-year-old card now.
But that seems like a good deal.
2,000. Well, yeah, it is. But I mean, 4 years later, years later, it's a 4-year-old card. People are still willing to shell out $2,000. You have to bear in mind, the Nvidia's flagship card wasn't. It was over $500 was unheard of for an Nvidia flagship card just a few years ago.
Yeah.
And now we're dropping $2,000 easily after a 4-year-old card.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, so
think about that.
That is
bananas.
ridiculous. So what was for there? I'm assuming, just because I'm curious here, I'm assuming for a while there was a fairly predictable cycle.
Yeah. Right.
For the next generation.
Right.
It was, what was it, like a year, 2 years?
Yeah, it was like every 2 years.
So okay, so you'd go from the 2000 to the 3000.
Yeah.
And it'd be about a 2-year gap.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at like a 4-year gap to go from 4,000 to 5,000. Right?
Let's see. What? Let me double check. Let me get my facts.
It was like 2020, right? Or
4090 release date. I don't want to.
It was around the pandemic.
Oh, my bad. It's been 2 years. Or 3. It's been 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it's a 2-year cycle, not a 4-year cycle. 2022 is when the 4090 came out.
2022.
But its MSRP was $1,600.
Yes, but the MSRP is a joke.
It's pretty meaningless. Yeah. Which is another thing that sucks, because NVIDIA, that's like the one leg that NVIDIA still has to stand. Or it's like deceiving that NVIDIA can still pretend to be pro-consumer, because they can set a low MSRP, and it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. The market price,
the board partners will jack it up. Resellers will jack it up.
So I'm gonna go and predict the MSRP for the 5090 will be $2,000.
Okay.
And that's probably high.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna guess that, and then the actual market price.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say $3,500 to $4,000.
I think that's pretty fair. I think I would predict MSRP is going to be lower than $2,000. I think it's going to be under $2,000. I think it's going to be maybe $100, probably a little bit more than the 4090 was. I would say $1,700, and it's going to go for $2,500 to $3,000.
Okay,
easy. Yeah.
You think NVIDIA will bother trying to cut down on scalpers?
No, I don't think so.
They don't really have any motivation, because like all they have to do is move the product. Like
exactly.
Like they have to put so little effort into it.
Yeah. They hardly did anything for the mining craze, several years back. So they're not going to do it now. Scalpers are hard to deal with. EVGA was really the only board partner that EVGA and actually Newegg to some degree had like a lottery system specifically for non-scalpers to cut that down. But NVIDIA is not going to touch that.
EVGA is gone now, though, right?
Yes, that was when they were still in the GPU business. They're still around though for
what
power supplies.
Oh, for power supplies
and peripherals.
Okay,
yeah.
But GPUs were like 80% of their business, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Their CEO just went, fuck this. Like apparently got so fed up with NVIDIA's treatment of them, and I guess all the board partners, that he was just like, we don't need this bullshit. I mean, he's made his bag, right? And I kind of respect him for it, because it's like, that's a CEO of a huge company that just walked away from money.
Yeah,
you know?
just a huge pile of money because I'm not dealing with this bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
I respect that too. That's kind of a boss move.
Yeah, for sure. But we're gonna cut it here. I guess if any of you guys watch me on Bitwit, stay tuned. I will be covering the keynote that Nvidia is making at CES, where they will probably be announcing the next gen RTX 5000 series. So shameless plug. Stay tuned for that. I'm very excited.
I'll watch it.
I'll probably do a live stream. I'm probably gonna do a live stream where like I watch the keynote from my hotel room and then just like do social commentary.
No, you should. It's a good format.
Just maybe like pop some champagne if it's like under $2,000, and then if it's over $2,000, like eat cyanide.
Do it from the bathtub.
Oh yeah, dude. I did that once. Did you know that? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you got that.
That was for a CPU, right?
Yeah. It's for a Ryzen chip. AMD
but
Ryzen
I feel like it's a good format.
I mean, every now and then I'll still like be at a press event and like just some like editor or whatever will come up to me like, "So you shooting this from the bathtub today?" I was like, "What?" Like I'll forget about it. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, I did that." Yeah, so maybe might have to bring that back. I might have to light some candles. I actually went to the hotel store, the little gift shop at the hotel that day, and like bought a bunch of candles to light. And I paid like $60 for these shitty sunglasses just as a prop for the video. Put it on the business card, whatever. But all right, we're gonna call it there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back in a week. See ya.
Later.
And Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
And Christmas and
Christmas
all that stuff.
And Kwanzaa. All right.
Festivus.
Festivus. Festivus Prime. Bye bye.